AITA for never coming back after my family stranded me in another state. Hey Reddit. I'm 27 now, but rewind to age 12, summer break, my family piling into the minivan for what was billed as an epic cross-country adventure. 4 of us, mom, dad, big sister Clara, 15, and me, were supposed to see national parks, quirky roadside diners, and maybe sneak in a Six Flags stop. I'd been looking forward to it for months. The first 2 days were textbook family fun, dad's cheesy road trip playlist, mom's Tetris-like packing of the luggage, Clara's endless selfie sessions. We camped under the stars, roasted marshmallows, and I was certain this was the coolest summer of my life. Then, day 3 happened. We pulled off the highway near a tiny town in Missouri. Dad said, "Let's stretch our legs," and we all hopped out. I was halfway to the portable toilet when I heard Clara's mischievous giggle. Next thing I knew, the minivan doors slammed shut. I turned, stunned. Mom was behind the wheel, Clara was in the passenger seat grinning like she'd won the lottery, and Dad was waving with an exaggerated, "Bye, kiddo," flourish. I yelled for them to stop. I ran after the van, stumbling in flip-flops over gravel, screaming, "Wait! You're leaving me here." They didn't slow down. Clara laughed, Mom called, "Let's see if he can make it back," and Dad just honked once before they disappeared over the horizon. My pulse was racing. I stood there, heart pounding, clutching my backpack, drenched in sweat under the July sun. Cars passed by, and I tried flagging one down, but everyone just stared. I rummaged through my bag for water, heart sinking, no cell phone, no cash, nothing but a map, an old paper map, of the state. I spent hours wandering a dusty stretch of 2-lane road, my imagination running wild. What if they really drove off and forgot me? What if they thought it was just a joke? Fear turned into anger as the sun beat down. I had school supplies, not survival gear. Finally, a kind trucker stopped and offered me a ride to the nearest town. I begged him to call my aunt, anyone who could help. That night, I was safe, but utterly alone in my head. My parents called at midnight. Mom's voice was shaky, Dad sounded half apologetic. They said it was just a prank, a harmless test of your resourcefulness. Clara chimed in with an, "I'm sorry if it scared you." But I wasn't laughing. By sunrise, I made a choice. I refused to get back in that van. They wanted to treat me like a joke. Fine. I'd disappear. I stayed with my aunt, then at friends' houses. I grew up in that new town, finished middle school, never looked back. When the dust settled, I was 12, stranded, with no intention of ever climbing back into that van. My aunt, bless her, took me in that night, and with her, I found something I'd never felt under my parents' roof, agency. I transferred into the local middle school the week after the prank. The other kids knew the story, "Your folks ditched you." Crazy, but I leaned into it. Instead of pity, I found curiosity. I told them I'd orchestrated my own grand escape, that I was a ninja survivor. Before long, the nickname Nomad Nick stuck. Weirdly, I liked it. I wasn't the kid who got left behind, I was the kid who disappeared on purpose. Without Mom and Dad micromanaging my homework or curfew, I had to figure things out fast. My aunt helped me open a savings account. I babysat, mowed lawns, delivered newspapers, anything to pad that balance. When I needed a textbook, I negotiated trades or bought used. I cooked my own meals, ramen upgrades, learned to patch holes in my jeans, and even mastered the art of bargain hunting at garage sales. By age 15, I was basically running my own household, laundry, bills, even chauffeuring my aunt when her arthritis flared up. I looked forward to every responsibility because it meant I was in control. Freed from the drama at home, I discovered things I never had time for. I found an old acoustic in my aunt's attic. Within months, I was writing songs about highways, lost family, and the open road. I joined the school debate team and realized I could argue, and win, against anyone. That confidence spilled into every part of my life. I started helping at the local youth shelter, teaching younger kids how to dream beyond their neighborhoods. Seeing them look up to me felt pretty great. By the time high school rolled around, I wasn't the kid who got left behind, I was Alex, self-reliant, scrappy, and full of ambition. I made the honor roll, got a scholarship to a good state university, and even interned at a startup tech firm thanks to a teacher's recommendation. Throughout it all, I never spoke to my parents unless absolutely necessary. Their calls, "We miss you," or, "Come on, it was just a joke," went straight to voicemail. Why subject myself to hollow apologies? 2 weeks ago, I got the 107 missed calls. My parents had finally tracked me down, 15 years later. They wanted to talk. They were so sorry and wanted you home. But by then, my house, both the literal one and the home I'd built in my new life, didn't have space for old jokes or casual cruelty. 2 weeks ago, my phone started buzzing like crazy. I looked down and saw 107 missed calls from my family's number, all clustered in the past 48 hours. After a deep breath, I hit play on the first voicemail. Mom's voice trembled, "Honey, I'm so sorry. We've been trying to reach you, please just talk to us." The second was Dad, "Come home, son. We messed up. Clara left a curt text, you blew up our lives. Now you owe us." I sank onto the couch, the old memories crashing back, standing on that gravel road, the roar of the van fading, the heat pressing down. My heart pounded, but it wasn't excitement or relief, it was a knot of anger and confusion. All those years of empty apologies had been funneled into these frantic messages, and I realized none of it was for me. It was for their guilt. I scrolled through the rest, missed calls from my aunt checking in, worried voice messages from friends who'd heard my parents eventually found me. I drank a glass of water, trying to steady my hands, then stared at my own reflection in the blank screen. Who was I supposed to become in this moment? The scared 12-year-old, or the self-made 30-year-old who'd built a life on boundaries and hard work? I tapped out a draft reply, "I heard you. I'm safe. I won't be coming back." Then I hesitated, fingers hovering over send. Part of me wanted to pour my heart out, list every lonely night I spent wondering if they'd come back for me, every scholarship I earned without their encouragement, every holiday I celebrated with new friends because my parents had shown up only to mock me later. But I knew that wouldn't help. They didn't call to reconnect, they called to absolve themselves. So I deleted the draft. Instead, I opened the Notes app and wrote, "I deserve more than a prank apology. I need time. Don't call again." I reviewed it, feeling a strange calm replace the racing of my pulse. This was the boundary I'd learned to draw back when I was 12, protect myself at all costs. I hit send. My phone fell silent for the first time in days. I walked outside, inhaled the spring air, and felt the familiar weight lift. They'd found me, yes. But finding me didn't give them claim over my life or my heartbreak. I'd answered in my own way, on my own terms, and now I could finally close that chapter. The moment I pressed send on that last message, I felt something shift. My phone stayed quiet, and for the first time in almost 2 weeks, I wasn't waiting for their next call or voicemail. I sat on my back porch, the evening sky turning pink, and let the silence wash over me. It wasn't emptiness, it was relief. The next morning, I woke up to a single text from my aunt, "We're here if you need anything." No guilt trips, no pressure, just steady support. It reminded me why I'd built this new life around people who saw me, not the punchline of some twisted family joke. My aunt's message was the only lifeline I needed. A few days later, Mom sent one final email. It was succinct, an apology without excuses, acknowledgement of how deeply they wounded me, and a promise to respect my space. I didn't reply. I read it once, let it sit in my inbox, then archived it. I didn't delete it, I wanted to hold on to that acknowledgement, however small. Life ticked on, full of ordinary moments, teaching my niece to ride her bike, mornings at the coffee shop where the barista knows my order, weekends spent hiking with friends who become chosen family. I realized that home isn't a building, it's the people who show up without needing anything in return. Every once in a while, I think about sending a postcard or dropping a hello email, just a line to say I'm okay. But then I remember the gravel road, the heat, the fear of being left behind all over again. And I decide that my peace of mind is worth more than polite small talk. 15 years ago, being stranded felt like the end of the world. Now, I see it as the beginning of a life I chose for myself. I didn't go back, and I don't regret it. I found strength I didn't know I had, and a family who values me. That's the story of how I escaped a prank and built a real home, from the ground up, on my own terms.